Okay, we're back for part 2 of the Stormhold Knights of Thunder Gainak Moltar. Well, I shouldn't really call this series, it's not much of a series, it's like a two-parter. But anyways, the lore of Stormhold. Alright, this is Befallen. This was I don't remember exactly which... Knights of Mar? Yeah, Order of Mar, here we go, the Order of Mar. Took me a moment, but yeah, this was the stronghold of the Order of Mar. It's another group of crusaders out here in the fountain of Delir. Delir wasn't always the realm of evil, you know. And I'd say it still isn't the realm of evil. But that's a different story. Let's take a look at this place. Boom! Look at that. I got some nice little stained glass fresco stuff going on. And there's a little statue of some dude with a shield and a sword. And look at him. He's all like, hey guys, check me out. I'm cool. But yeah, anyhow. After his exile, I remember what the heck was that? Probably a player. You'll remember that after he struck the hand from Opala during the peace meeting, he was exiled and condemned by the Knights of Thunder, stripped of his title or something like that. Did they strip him of his title? I'm not sure if they did or not, because he's Sir Gainak Moltar. When you see the events of the past, but somewhere else I read that he was stripped of his title. So again, conflicting lore. Let's just assume that he was stripped of his title. He came here, met up with the Order of Mar, and they took him in. Let's take a look at this place and see if we can get some hints as to how that went for everyone. Well, I want to go out on a limb here and say that maybe it didn't help that much. Basically, the corruption spread. He told the order, the heads of the order, he told them of what had transpired, and that he was trying to, how should I put it, exorcise his demons, if you will. Only in this case, he was not speaking metaphorically, but quite literally. He was possessed by something terrible. Now, in the easy zone over here, the Caverns of the Afflicted, you don't really see much of, again, it's the uppermost layer. Not so much to see in here. There's undead everywhere, and a few icky things, but nothing really concrete. Just know that Befallen is completely overrun with undead. However, it's when you go down here to the medium, so the Halls of the Forsaken, this is where the truth of what happened is revealed. And it's also why I think that Gainak was not filled with bitter hatred of gnolls. I think that the sword itself could possibly have been possessed by the demon first, but it used him instead. Or not used him, possessed him afterwards. Just like, screw the sword. You see, the reason I say that is because within that fateful night, you see the events that transpire. The four knights, the four lords, if you will, they tried to help him exorcise the demon, but the demon was stronger than he was. And it consumed him utterly and killed the knights. And of course, they all died. Now, according to the story that you hear from some of the witnesses, they're all ghosts, mind you, again, conflicting lore, he slit all their throats in their sleep. But that cannot be true, because you see what happened. The memories of that night are embedded in the very stones themselves. In fact, you're able to take part in the ritual, and when you help, well, theoretically, when you help, he's able to overcome his demon. Though it does cost the lives of the four lords. Hey, I have an idea. Oh wait, if I go inside, I'd have to fight my way through it though. These zones, they scale to your level. So I couldn't just run through it real fast and ignore everything because I'd actually have to fight, and that would be kind of distracting. Makes me sad. But, you know, we can at least look at the inside. Let's give you an idea of what Befallen's like. This was actually my first shards of the rain. Shards are a form of currency that you use to buy armor or gear upgrades. You get them from running these zones, and shards were the first type of currency that they threw in like that you had to run dungeons for. Call it tier 1. Remember, there's no tier 0. But anyways, yeah, I have fond memories of this. When Gildies and we went in here, and we got to about here on our first try. No, I think we got to about here. Yeah, see, there they are. They're not quite my level. They're a couple levels below me, but they're there. This is where the Order of Mar once stood. It still stands, but it's just a pale shadow of its form of glory. And I gotta be careful with these guys because fear effects are strong with them. I don't know if I'm immune to fear or not. If I'm immune to fear, then nope. I just took a step. And these horrible zombies. They're forlorn. Huh? Oh, hello there, sir. How are you? Get out of my face, jerk. Okay. Uh-oh. You gotta be careful when you walk with skeletons. Sometimes they laugh at you, sometimes they attack you. It was a good idea to attack me. Anyways, the Echoing Cavern. Not quite sure where the cavern came from. Maybe the corruption broke the earth. Who knows? Couldn't tell you. But you see a dark nimbus over there that spreads corruption everywhere around it. If you get too close to it, it spits goo on you. And you'll see these ghosts. You'll notice my mouse is disappearing because I'm trying to target him, but you can't target them. There is a special quest for those guys. The thing is, here's a mechanic that isn't very good. You can hit them. That is an epic enemy. Raid enemy, if you will. If you hit him, it will aggro you, and it will proceed to chase you around and slow your movement speed, and basically just be an utter pain in the ass. Maybe even killing you if you're weak enough, but you can't target him. It is possible to take them out, but it requires a little targeting trickery. Otherwise, there's a quest that you have for those to cleanse them, to grant them eternal rest, although it doesn't actually grant them eternal rest because they just come back the next time. Cackling Dread Fiend. It's a little mini death specter there. And there are statues all over the place that you can move, and if you move them, you'll be able to see the events of the past. As I said, he attempted to cleanse the darkness within. He meditated, and they stood vigil. However, as I said, the demon was not a metaphorical demon. It was actually the eidolon of... What is he the eidolon of? Oh, I don't recall. The eidolon of something. And the fight itself is not terribly complicated. It's a scripted battle, but it's not a scripted battle. It's scripted in that the eidolon of depravity, the eidolon of depravity. The eidolon becomes immune to damage after a certain amount of time. He begins to exert his control over Gynok and laughs at your feeble attempts to damage him. However, the four lords standing vigil aren't just there to watch, they're there to participate. When he becomes empowered like that, if you bring him close to one of the lords, the lord will sacrifice himself and call upon the Truthbringer, Mara, to weaken, basically dispel his immunity. You have a few seconds in between bouts of immunity, and you have four lords. So it again is a DPS check. You have to burn him down before you run out of lords. After the fourth lord has fallen, you now have 45 seconds to kill him. If you cannot kill him by that time, he consumes Gynok and becomes Gynok Moltar Epic times 4 and just whoops your ass. The times 4 of course means it requires 4 groups. Now, I've never actually fought him, and I've always wanted to, but I'm usually doing something and I don't want to just mess the quest up. So one of these days I'm going to do it. I'm going to purposely let him transform. And we'll see what happens. Now this is an interesting zone. This is the easy zone, but it's also the super hard zone because inside you have a choice. Cavern of the Afflicted, but there's also the Tomb of the Mad Crusader. Gynok Moltar never died. He's still alive. Or, well, he's undead. He's in the Tomb of the Mad Crusader. He is the Mad Crusader. And he's nasty, and he's ucky, he's scary, and one day, if people ever come back, I'm talking to you, guild, we're going to kick his ass. My guildie and I, we went in there and we tried to two-man it, and we came close. We did come close. We needed just one more person, an actual legally declared vegetable would have done. We just needed one more person to give them something to shoot at for us to get off one final hit, and we would have made it to Moltar himself. It just came down to one shot on both sides. Who got the shot off? Well, he did. Damn it. If we just had one more person, that's all it would have taken. This guy, he, William Taros, yeah, he was one of the lords. He got stuck here on Norath for a very long time because he was the sole survivor of the tragedy, and he went back to the council of something. I don't remember where the council was. I think it was in Kinos, but it might have been Freeport. But anyways, wherever actually I think it was the order of the council of the Order of More. I'm sorry, just having a great time tripping over my own tongue. I believe it was the Order of More's High Council, and they stripped him of his title and named him Coward for surviving because they believed that he fled, which he did not do. He actually wrote everything down, and he was trying to get help to come and cleanse the corruption, and he also wanted them to know the cause, that they let one into their ranks who should have been turned away immediately. That's how he puts it. There's a member of the Order of More right now, Squire Glurp. It's Froglock. Remember I mentioned we speak Froglock? Well, he does. Check him out. He's a frog. Look at those eyes. How's it going, buddy? Anyways, yeah. So that's the sad story of Gynok Moltar, but when you get down to it, it all starts with Stormhold. And maybe that's why they're writing his name on the wall. Maybe maybe the curse was twofold. Maybe he didn't just curse Moltar, maybe he cursed the Order, or more likely, in my mind, Opala cursed Moltar, but the sword cursed Stormhold. Remember, Moltar was the first wielder of the blade, and that's where it all started. But he had to have gotten the blade from somewhere, and if the blade drove him to commit that act of desecration, then, well, the blade must have a story. The dragon, perhaps? Remember, it was forged of I think it's the backbone of a dragon, while the dragon was still alive. So, yeah, it's not a pretty sword. he turns into the Eidolon of depravity. And, well, let's think about it. There are 5 Eidolons then. There's the Eidolon of darkness, the Eidolon of suffering, the Eidolon of destruction, and the Eidolon of pain. Then we have the Eidolon of depravity, who is no longer in Stormhold. He escaped and destroyed Befallen. Obviously, he was more powerful than the other 4, since it took 4 of them to bring down Stormhold, and only 1 of him to bring down Befallen. So, what's going on there? Now you might be wondering, but Koronaf, what about Befallen, the necrotic asylum? Well, that doesn't really tie in too much to the story of Befallen and Moltar. I'm trying to think if there was anything that directly pertains to it, but nothing's jumping to mind. There might be a few obscure references as parts for another quest. Actually, yeah, there is another quest, but it's not, again, it's not related to Moltar. It's looking for a Phyrexian knight, a Phyrexian shadow knight. Most of Befallen, necrotic asylum, again, those hiccups are they're just killing me today. It's focused on a necromantic cult called the Cult of the Burning Dead, I believe, or is it Burning Undead? No, I think it's the Burning Dead. It's been a while, so I'm kind of going off of memory here. But anyways, it's a necromantic cult. They were followers of Solsekro, the god of fire, but they kind of got heavy in the necromancy. I don't know much more about them because I don't really deal with them much, except for the some that I remember. What was the name of their leader? He's a dick. He is a raging dick. Anymore, he's not a dick. He dies fast now because, again, mechanics have changed, gear has changed, but mobs haven't changed. Well, old mobs haven't changed. But at the time, he was actually a pretty tricky fight. It required a group that could coordinate well. He put a curse on you, and that curse, when it was, I think it was 60-second curse. Once the curse is on you, you have 60 seconds. Once the 60 seconds are up, you die. At the end. No ifs, ands, or buts, you die. If the curse is on you, of course. If you were able to dispel the curse, then you're fine. But that's not what you actually want to do while you're fighting him. And I'll tell you why. Behind him is a pool of Ucky goo. That pool serves a very important function, rather than just hurting you, or other than just hurting you, I'm sorry. Because the green Kool-Aid, you don't want to drink the green Kool-Aid. It's icky stuff. In this game, there's one thing you've learned: if the Kool-Aid is green, don't touch it. It has something to do with undeath, and it's not going to be pretty. This stuff will hurt you. It puts a pretty nasty dot on you and does some pretty nasty damage if it's not cured. But in this case, it's a lovely dot. You love that dot so much because, again, this is only true if you're doing it as it was originally intended. It refreshes the curse. What this means is whoever is holding the asshole's attention can wail on him and be cured by the healers. Hopefully you have at least one healer. 2 is better because Cure Curse has a longer refresh than the other cures. So you want to alternate back and forth. Boom, cure, and then the next person will cure, and then the first person will cure, and the second person will cure, etc., ad infinitum. The reason you want the healers to jump into the pool is that, well, the other healer can heal them so they don't die, and it refreshes the curse on them and saves the cure curse for the tank. Wait until he's just about to die and drop a cure on him. He continues the fight, keeps the mob's attention, obviously, because he does have a pretty nasty frontal and likes to rip your face off. So, it's, like I said, it was a pretty cool fight. They did a lot of neat encounters with the release of these zones. Some of them were not that tough, just kind of like an aggravation or an irritant maybe, but others were pretty clever. I love Bridge Boy. He's one of my favorite bosses in this game. You fight him in the Necrotic Asylum. He's the second boss. Yeah, second boss. You fight him on a bridge. I call him Bridge Boy because, well, you fight him on a bridge. And he used to wipe us out until we realized what the trick was. We finally noticed. It's one of those fights where pay attention. Not just to the... You don't necessarily want to be looking at the guy you're fighting. You want to be looking to the sides. Very nice fight. Anyhow, where was I? Actually, I think we pretty much finished it up. Gynox still haunts the ruins of Befallen to this day. His head is a guild trophy, and that's one of the reasons why I want to kick his ass. Like I said before, I don't raid just to raid. I usually raid with a specific purpose. I mean, if you like raiding, more power to you, that's fine. And I don't mind it. I don't hate raiding or anything like that. Some of the raid fights are really fun, but on the other hand, some of them require more setup than is convenient for guilds like mine to deal with. And it's just more trouble than it's worth. Although nowadays, a lot of them have become a lot more trivial because in some cases the script can be bypassed completely simply by killing the mob before the script triggers. Some cases that's not true. It will kill you by killing the mob without doing the script. There was at least one that did that. I can't remember if there were more, but yeah. So yeah, let's just kind of recap. Knights of Thunder. They're a holy order of knights in Antonica. They were, I can't really say, well, I guess, yeah, it kind of fits. They were basically betrayed by one of their own, not intentionally. They were here's a good example. Okay, in D&D, when they talk about paladins, they always say if a paladin ever unknowingly or unwittingly or under someone else's control commits an evil act, he or she can get his paladinhood back by atoning, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of what happened. Gynox committed an act, but he was not under his own control. And he was trying to redeem himself, but it failed. He was unable to complete the quest. And that had ramifications for another holy group of knights, the Order of Mar. It's kind of a sad story. Actually, it is a sad story. The guy's just trying to get his knighthood back, get his reputation back, because everyone thought that he was this bloodthirsty killer of gnolls. It's like, yeah, not really. It's possible that he had actually killed numerous gnolls, and that triggered the bloodlust of the sword, now that I think about it. But again, it's never been said, at least not that I'm aware of. So, speculation on my part, but good speculation, I think. That's kind of the whole point of these lore videos, is just kind of making a story out of bits and pieces. I mean, they do it with Dark Souls. And when you get down to it, Dark Souls, a lot of the lore is pure speculation. They aren't going to come out and say, yes, this is what happened. As Miyazaki said, he didn't want to detract from the player's story. So I say, make your own lore. Take the bits and pieces that you can find and make a story out of it. I did it with Bloodborne. Later on, turned out that I was kind of right, but also kind of wrong. But going with the whole theme of the multiple realities bisecting and drawing apart, then it's possible I was wrong. It's also very possible that I wasn't wrong. That the thing that made me wrong never actually happened in my particular reality. So yeah, and that would apply here too. Remember, in alternate realities, timeline has split. In fact, that features very heavily in the main storyline. There's a part where they're talking about threads, meaning other worlds, other realities. One of the reasons why the Awakened is so powerful is that he's not afraid to go to these other threads and draw upon them to kick our asses. But the main reason the Awakened is so awful is because he's just fucking ugly, pardon my frog luck. God, if you've seen him, I waited so long to see him. See, I'd actually seen his model from EverQuest 1, but EverQuest 1 was like, back 1999. Ooh, Go EverQuest 1, 1991, 1999 graphics. Alright, that's awesome, except no, he looked stupid, but I figured they can't possibly make him look worse. Oh, was I wrong? He looks stupid. He looks like he overdosed on Twinkies for one, because he's just this big, fat, alligator, anvil monstrosity. Vomits rainbows on them, which I will give him his cool points. He vomits rainbows for a breath weapon. That's pretty fucking hardcore. Yeah, so anyways. But, yeah, this has been a follow-up vid. I wonder how long it's been. I have no idea. Let me check the little thing here. It tells me, doesn't it? 25 minutes. Okay, yeah, it's been about long enough. So, thanks for watching, if you did. If you didn't, well, you should, because it was a cool video. It's a lore video. Lore videos are awesome. Everyone knows that. I am the Angry Ice Cube / Koronev. I almost called myself Roas, but this is Koronev. He looks like Roas, you'll note. But that's because Roas is a half-elf and he's a high-elf, but they're basically this same person. I just kind of modeled them, what this guy would look like as this. What this guy would look like as this. Yeah. That's about everything there is to tell about my characters. Well, these characters, anyways. So, thanks for watching. Peace out once again. Comment if you have questions or concerns, or you just absolutely hate me and want to tell me how much I suck. That's cool, believe me. Thanks to this little green box down here, I've been told more times than you can imagine just how much I suck. Anyways, peace out, and I'll catch you on the next video.